first of all, if you don't know who I am, I'm Brett Lee, a friend of Derek's, and been coming to Gopher Dunes forever. So I know this place very well. Long before this was a gym, it was a dark place you did not want to go into. So congratulations on the build of Gopher Dunes over the last few years and all the stuff you guys have been doing down here. Just so you guys know, a bit of the agenda is we're going to bring a few of the guys up, have a quick talk, some Q&A. You guys, we want to encourage questions that'll make it go a little bit smoother and have some fun with this. I don't know if anyone, other than a few of us, has seen some of the photos from yesterday's photo shoot, so I'm sure there's some fun stuff to bring up from that yesterday in the morning. Dylan? I'm just looking at Dylan, he's like, I don't know if I'm ready to go there. And check out all the bikes and stuff downstairs. The guys were saying after this, you can go downstairs, look at those race bikes. That's the bikes you're going to be seeing showing up at the Triple Crown Series in a few weeks. And the bikes on the right side, there's a sign on them, those are bikes that will not be unveiled until July 7th here at the Gopher Dunes National, so no photos of them, or you can take a photo, but no releasing those photos. And again, go around, check out some of the cool stuff here. Again, you can see the guys' gear here, and I just picked up, I mean, even the small things, like I noticed the 64 on the boots. There's some custom boots and gear, and I'm pretty sure Ryder's not this tall, but we'll measure him up next to when he comes up here. So with that being said, let's have a great time, and again, thanks Gopher Dunes for putting this together. And we're going to start this off and sort of bring up the first guest, and he's the guy who's been promoting this series for a number of years. Give us a feel of how this season's going to look. I want to welcome up to the front here, Justin Thompson. So I talked to Justin before, and I said, let's go through this whole thing a little bit and talk about what these guys are going to be working towards. And year 5, we're downstairs doing it on our numbers. Year 5, it's been a different ride for you guys, but you're
3 wild ones.
3 wild ones. So let's get into that. What it's taken to get to year 5 here.
Well, I think the biggest hurdle, obviously, like everybody's been dealing with, is COVID. I mean, it changed the whole landscape of things. You know, for 2 seasons, we haven't really left Ontario. We did 1 Quebec round in 2 seasons. So I think that was the biggest change. I mean, you know, I have people say, oh, sponsors, this, that. I think the biggest hurdle was trying to get around the restrictions at each location we went. So, I mean, big round of applause to, obviously, GDR guys, you guys at Walton, Sandali guys. I mean, without the group of us working together, I think we wouldn't have a race season the last couple of seasons. So it was almost, to be honest, we took the Triple Crown playbook and put it on the back burner. And I mean, we're now, you know, brushing it off, getting it all back together. And this year is going to be the first year it's going to be back kind of as a Triple Crown, right? You know, it was, from the inception, it was always the 3 different disciplines, and we're slowly getting back to that. And there's a lot of exciting things, as you're probably asking questions on this.
Yeah, well, let's start about those, like, what's getting you guys motivated. Again, going into Kamloops, starting with the WCAN, it's going to be a big event to kick off this series, and something I think a lot of the riders are going to get excited about.
Yeah, I think even to take a step back, I think the biggest thing, you know, with Galdi and you and everybody who's been working hard behind the scenes over the years, we've been managed to, the entire country kind of works in one direction now. So the nice thing with that is we can go out west and have the WCAN, you know, tied to the first round, make it a really good event where everybody, manufacturers will be there with their teams and, you know, working with the BC guys this year. So that I think it's a good way to kick it off, especially.
So, and we'll go right across the country with motocross, and like you said before, you do want to get back to that Triple Crown Series. Arena Cross is something on your mind. Supercross is like a big conversation right now. Can you give us any details about what's going to be happening with that?
Yeah, Supercross, I mean, obviously, everyone probably knows we're working with the World Supercross guys on a few different projects. And
I don't know if everyone does know.
Okay, well, that's one of the things that I can now speak openly about it. So about probably a year ago, they approached me with the FIM, and obviously they're doing the World Supercross. Canada was on their map. They wanted to do what we did with Montreal and Gestev a few years ago. So they kind of want to pick up where Gestev left off. So it required us to look outside the box and work with them on a few different locations, one in the US, one in Canada, and one in Mexico. I think they've, once again, COVID kind of shelved it in January on them when all that stuff happened. So they kept it close-knit. They are going to start round 1 this year in Montreal, September 10th. So
It's good news for Canadian Moto, right? Getting back to Montreal. I mean, it's an important place to go. It's been an important part for the whole industry for a lot of years, and not having it. It's great you guys are working to get that back. It's a great thing.
And the biggest problem I think on our side is the sheer power of funds it takes to run an event that size, right? It would be our only focus if we were to focus only on Supercross at that level. So with a company like that coming in, wanting to work with us, being as similar as a Just Dev event that we did in the past, allowing us to have a Triple Crown class inside the World Supercross, so it is our Triple Crown guys. There is obviously some will cross over and ride World Round too, but it just makes it good, right? It puts us on the world stage with them, but we're not having to use all the entire industry's money to do one event, right?
Amazing, yeah. It's a good thing. So, I mean, again, Triple Crown is back to it. We're coast to coast. Montreal is at the back of it, and you guys got to be pumped. And when you look around the room like this and you're seeing a team come together, we talked about it. Talk about how important it is to have teams like GDR part of your series.
Oh, absolutely. I talk to Derek a lot, and I mean, we talk about it all the time on the level he takes things to. I mean, that's a big thing. We try to, when we came here from the States, even though we're Canadian, we came from the States with our series and started Arena Cross. We wanted to Americanize it and try to make it so it's more push and feel like the U.S. is, right? So, and Derek does that with his team. Every year he shows up, his stuff's, primo. He does those. He does things like this, the intro videos, the whole 9 yards, right? And so there is, we're fortunate that we do have some top tier manufacturer teams that do that, and that's what really makes the series more than anything.
We also talked about sponsors who back teams like this and how you guys have taken an approach that maybe other series or other races haven't, and that is you're really trying to get those team sponsors front and forward and support not only your own sponsors in the series, but teams, because that's what's driving those guys, right? Team sponsors like Honda, Fox, who get behind these guys.
Yeah, no, and that was one of the things when we came into Canada. We wanted to make sure that that everybody had a place to play, right? And everybody could play in the sandbox. So that was like, for instance, the gear companies. They all work together in a way that they're all on the same location, promoting their own brands. So there's Fox, there's Thor, there's Alpine Star, but everybody's getting to play, right? It's not just a one branded thing. So we tried to keep a lot of that stuff in line, and it's made it well so that they can not only support their teams, but they can also support the series. And we're proud to have Fox involved.
It's a good story, and I guess one of the last things I want to ask you before I allow anyone here to ask some questions, I do want to talk about some of the stuff that you guys are working on a little bit, and it goes back to with what the GDR team did with their video and stuff like that. You guys are really pushing on that end of it, the broadcast, up in the Inside X, doing videos like you've done with the team here. Just talk about that a little bit, if you can do a little.
Yeah, I'll do it an overview real quick. So, I mean, obviously last year we were with Flow Sports. We did a 4-year deal. It made sense on paper. It was big money. It really made sense for us to do it. So we did it, knowing that we expected them to do some changes. It was kind of, hey, we're going to change a couple things on price points and blah, blah, blah. They expected us to help them get these price points down. But anyways, long story short, it wasn't making sense. We opted out after our single year, our first year in. We had that in the clause, and we ended up buying out the Two Wheels TV app and becoming Ride TV. So with that, it opened a can of worms. I didn't realize when we were doing it what we were doing. We all expected to do a couple more broadcasts here and there. I don't even know that number now. Isaiah and the boys will know, but it's like 200 broadcasts we probably have to do this year, right? So the good thing is that it has brought new streams of funding coming into the whole
new eyes,
new eyeballs. It's built way better audience than we'll have from previous years, because the app has everything from the Best in the Desert series that has obviously all the trucks involved, the Toyotas, the Fords, all the different manufacturers in that division's looking at it. So there's lots more eyeballs to watch our series this year, right? So, and on the other side, it's helped bring funding in where, obviously we're in a new year, trying to get everything back on having crowds again and stuff like that. I mean, obviously we need funding, and this is a way to fund our Triple Crown habits, let's call it.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Well, I want to sort of open up the floor quickly here. Is there anyone, Palms or anyone? Yeah, Palms, you want to throw just a couple questions? You're not going to get Justin to sit down and answer your questions too many times in the year, so now you just unleash. Palms.
Yeah, no, first off, I think, like you touched on at the beginning, you should be applauded for getting through these last 2 years. And my question, though, is what are you most proud of through these last 2 years to get to where we are now? Is there, is it bringing everyone together? Is there something that...
That's exactly it. I think, like I said, the country's working as one now, and it was really turmoil when we started. It was really bad. There were sides, there was this, there was that. Teams are working together. We have manufacturers all working together. I mean, everybody's going in one direction, and it's really hit its stride through COVID, right? So I'm proud of that because I think the trajectory we're going is straight up. I mean, obviously, you look at even here in Ontario, ammo, it's all these killing it with the events. Everybody's working together. Everybody's not stepping on each other, and it's really that's I think the biggest thing that I think we're proud of.
Perfect. Anyone? Oh yeah, Lawrence.
Supercross in Montreal. What riders can we expect? Which teams? Does it conflict with anything else on that schedule?
It doesn't affect too much in the U.S. I don't believe. I don't think that. Yeah. So it's been a juggle for them. To be honest, the struggle in Montreal right now is they have three tunnels that are going to be out when we put the dirt in that building, so they have to go the long way around to get into Montreal. So it added like a huge amount of money, but they can't change weekends. So you got a group that's putting it on as IMG, basically that's who it is. They have the financial advisor from the F1. I mean, it's some big money behind it. But so they're the purse money alone for the world rounds is like $250K a night. So it's a lot of money. But teams are struggling, to be honest. They do have teams. Some of the teams that they're having is, like Yamaha from Star Racing in the States is working with the European guys, building teams that way. They're trying to put together a Canadian team right now. Obviously, Courtney Lloyd's working on some stuff with that. So I don't know if that's going to come together or not, but hopefully. So there's going to be a lot of riders like your Justin Braytons on the top level, guys like that will come to it.
Perfect. All right.
I got one more.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
With the Supercross, I don't, maybe you know the answer, maybe you don't, but was there a reason why it was Montreal and then not maybe Toronto or even Vancouver?
It was Toronto. I picked Toronto. I tried Toronto. The problem was we couldn't get in the building because they're doing construction in September this year. So most likely, if I get my way, it'll push to Toronto next year, and we'll stay there forever type thing.
And the buggies aren't coming back.
No buggies.
Oh,
They tore up all their stuff.
buggies. All right. Okay. Well, anyways, thank you very much, Justin. Round of applause. Thanks, Justin. It's gonna be a great year. We're really looking forward to this one. Perfect. Thank you for the questions, guys. That always makes it kind of fun, and I'm going to try and ask as many as I can. But again, if you think of something at the end, everyone's going to get an opportunity. So I'm going to bring up sort of the man who's put this together here. A lot of work, a lot of years, and we'll talk about that a little bit here. I want to invite up the manager of the Team Honda GDR Fox Racing Team, Derek Schuster. All right, Dig, yeah, take a center seat. That's where you belong, perfect. Okay, well, this is great, and I mean, I'm glad you put this together. I mean, it takes a little bit of work to get these things pulled together. It's not just open up the doors and everyone shows up. You thought about this, you put it together, and it's looking great. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks everybody for coming today. We want to do something, the last couple of years we haven't got to do too much as far as having crowds of people and that kind of thing, so I thought this would be a good way to kick off the season for the guys and just get the press together and some sponsors and everybody and bring you out and just show you what we've been up to in the off season and kick off the new year.
Well, it is a new year, but I mean, this team has come from a long ways. You guys have built to get to this point. It's a long ways away from Blake Savage and the Topher Ingles and Nathan Bless, I think, when you guys were in a fun mover and touring around the country, and now you're one of the winningest teams in the country, and you guys are rolling with two of the hottest riders in the country. It's got to feel good.
Yeah, for sure, it feels good. We've done the last 10 seasons with Honda, and obviously they've gone really well. We've got some championships. Dylan and Ryder, they've had a great off season, so guys are looking good. I'm excited for you guys to watch them ride a little bit here when we're done today, but they're looking really good right now.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep pulling you back. It has been a good road that you guys have climbed. Let's go through it. 76 wins, 108 podiums, 45 overalls, 2 Triple Crown championships, 7 national championships. When you came in, Blackfoot was like that team that everyone's like, no one's going to touch those guys. You're this little guy. Now they talk about you like you used to talk about Blackfoot. GDR is the team. That's the stuff. As a team manager, you got to just be like, it's almost surreal. I have that kind of moment.
Yeah, it's totally surreal when you're reading those stats for sure. I look at them and like every win is super important. Those championships are super important. They start adding up like that, and it like catches you off guard looking at those results for sure.
Absolutely. All right, let's jump into some of the stuff going on. And the new bike, the new Hondas. You guys got all your Hondas set up downstairs. Talk about how the off season went with the new bike. Like you said, you've been with Honda for 10 years. You guys know those bikes. From what I understand, the new 22 is updated ECU, so it's a better responding bike. It's a little better handling bike, but it's basically the same bike, just a better bike.
Yeah, we started with that new platform on the 450 in 2021, so Dylan's got a lot of time and experience on that bike already, so not a lot has changed for him going in this year other than some engine updates on our race bikes. For Ryder, he's moved to that new platform on the 250, and we're super excited about this bike. It's fast, he loves it, and we're really excited about this bike. This is for sure the best 250 we've had, and I'm super confident in saying that, and I think people are going to have to look out for him this year.
I like that, especially when he's coming in looking the way he's looking. I like the way you got those guys set up. He's back there. Let's talk about the rest of the team. Like I said, Honda's always a proven platform. You guys have loved it. I mean, I remember back in the day, the old Frank Schuster cruising around with dogs on a Honda Big Red and stuff like that around here. So you guys have been playing that program for a while. But another one that's been behind you too is Fox, Honda. Those guys have been behind you for a long time. Let's talk about those partnerships and some of the new ones you got coming in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Fox and Honda, they're huge parts of our program, and not just with the team, like with Gopher Dunes as well. They're heavily involved here with everything, and we couldn't go racing like we are without those two companies. And there's a bunch of people here today from both those brands, and I think that shows you how passionate they are about the sport and everything we're doing here. And like I said, they're getting involved with Gopher Dunes with our Red Ryder training, events, races, all that kind of stuff. So they're very important to us, and for us, it's important to have long-term relationships with these sponsors. So it's great that they've both been around for as long as they have and supporting us for as long as they have. We do have some new sponsors as well. Not a lot of changes with the team. Just a couple. We have a new oil sponsor, Motul. They're doing a lot of stuff with the MXGP team with Honda in Europe and worldwide, and reached out to us about doing something. So we're working with them going forward. Also, as everybody's seen already, the guys are dressed pretty good today. I want to thank Graphic. It's a men's clothing company in Vaughan, and they got the guys looking good. The owner of the store, he's a huge Honda fan and Fox guy, so he rides with the track all the time. He's a member here, and he wanted to do something with the guys in the team. So yeah, got us looking good today.
Yeah, he does. Do you find, and this is just a general conversation piece, but do you find that, I know for you, you are through and through a Honda Fox guy. I mean, if this whole program changed down in your core, that's who you are. Do you think that's part of the key of really having a successful long-term relationship, being able to promote them the way you want? Is that sort of real, being able to identify with those brands at your core?
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't joking about Frank cruising around on Big Reds. I remember those days.
For sure, yeah. I think if you go back to my dad, he's a Honda guy at heart, right? And same with Fox, and you just build those relationships with those companies, and for sure, it goes beyond just a business agreement with those companies, for sure. Perfect.
Let's just do a little bit quick talking about the Nationals. You talk to anyone, I talked to riders the other day, anyone I talk to, everyone is so excited to get back to going across the country, getting that feel back in. It's such a cool series for anyone who has never done it to go across this country. Diverse locations, diverse tracks, it's a diverse country, but just feels like a real national series for you guys again, I bet.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to get back to Kamloops. It's awesome.
You may not have said that a few years ago, too.
No, you know what, I've always liked going to Canada, so I'm looking at a few guys around here on the team, and I know that everybody likes going to that city. It's a great spot for kicking off the series for round one. You know, I give Justin and Kyle, the Jetworks guys, a ton of credit for everything they've done the last couple of years to keep the series going through COVID and, you know, racing in Ontario and Quebec last year. But I think everybody can say that, you know, we're excited to go back across the country again and really give it that national feel, have it fully opened up to fans again and that kind of thing. So that's super exciting to really get back to that. I cannot wait to get to round one.
Yeah, me neither. Well, not that I'm going, but I'll be watching, of course. And we stop here at Gopher Dunes, and I know that's an important flag event for you guys. One of the things I want to ask you about is, it does get the reputation of being literally the world's toughest national. Do you guys take pride in that, or you push back on that? I actually heard on the Pulp show, Ricky Carmichael someone was talking about what's the toughest sand track, and Carmichael throws out Gopher Dunes, right? And these are comments that get made around the world now.
Yeah, I think we take pride in that for sure. I mean, it's a big reason why the track's so well known, so I think you got to embrace that. And, you know, as Justin knows, like these last couple of years, we made the track tough because of it, and we've really challenged the guys. The riders have had a tough time with it. I know, like, even with Dylan, who is known to be a great sand rider on a rough track, at the end of the day, he's like, man, that is insane how difficult that was out there. And I don't know if he enjoyed himself, but I think he could say, though, that, you know, he is happy with how he raced and his results, and, you know, that put him up to a big time challenge. So I think a lot of guys look at that as, like, you know, just a separate challenge from the rest of the series, where it's not just about how well you do, but just getting through the day and finishing with a decent result and getting through it.
It's a test, that it's the ultimate, but it's probably one of the ultimate motocross race tests in the world. Like, you cannot fake success here, so that's a cool thing to have happen here. And I agree with you. You got to embrace it, and it's guys have got a full year warning. It's coming every year, so they need to know that you got to be prepared. Would you agree? Yeah,
For sure.
all right. Questions for Derek before we start moving on? Palms. Good come up. I appreciate you.
When you look around at the whole facility, whether it's the championship bikes downstairs or the 50s lined up out there, the track, everything, could you maybe put into words, it might be tough, but could you put into words just maybe how much pride you feel, or what it makes you feel when you see what you've created, and even your dad before that stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I don't even know how to put that in words exactly, but you're right. I do take a lot of pride in it, and I think everybody around here does, like our whole crew. And with my dad, I mean, I took over the business in 2016, but everybody knows, you still see him here every day. He's doing stuff, and I mean, he's been a big part of all the changes we've made here too. And he's always in equipment and helping out with stuff, and everybody still sees him around here a lot. And, you know, we talk a lot about different ideas and different things I want to do with the facility, and sometimes butt heads on that stuff too. But it's good because you got somebody that you can run some ideas past and let them know if they think you're crazy or not. But yeah, it's a group effort around here. Everybody, you know, works pretty hard. Like the mechanics, the riders, the girls downstairs in the front right now, the guys outside, Zach, and my mom was down here this week doing flower beds before everybody arrived here. And it's everybody. Everybody puts in a lot of work, and I think everybody around here takes pride in it, and that's why it looks how it does.
All right. Anyone else? We good? All right. Derek, going to get you to move over to the sea. Well, first of all, let's just a round of applause. It's been an awesome event for you guys. Congratulations. I'm going to get you to stay with me, Derek, before we move on to the next one. I got a funny story. Derek and I, like as a motocross community here in Ontario, for sure, between Derek and I and Kevin Tyler, we talk all the time. We talk to Galdy's, running the ammo program all the time. And the ammo, before the ammo event this year, there's an email comes out like all the things to remember for Gopher Dunes ammo event. And it always on my email comes in as Barb Schuster. And I used to run CMRC, and when I'd get an email 3 days before the first race at Gopher Dunes from Barb Schuster, the hair on the back of my neck would stand straight up, right? Because to this day, I'll never forget a computer cord. I'll just leave that out there. But anyways, I text Dig and I said, man, I got to change our mom's thing because I just would have a heart attack every year when Galdy's starting ammo up here at Gopher Dunes and I see the Barb Schuster email. So, and again, I also come from a family where my dad was involved, and it's a blessing to have everyone keep staying involved and handing that legacy, because there's a lot a lot of knowledge I'll someday hopefully be passing on to the way it's going with my daughter. We run in the motocross track, so congratulations to you guys too. We're going to move on to the next one. We've been talking about sponsors. Justin's talked about it. Derek's touched base on it. And one of the key ones that is up here is Fox Racing. Fox Racing is a big sponsor involved in this team, several events involved in the series, and they've done a great job. We're going to ask Jeff Fullerton from Fox Canada to please come up. So Jeff had approximately about 2 minutes warning this was going to happen.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah.
Well, first of all, let's talk about the last couple of years with you guys. I know I personally work with Fox, and it's become like one of those deals where Fox is like, the world's changing. We don't know how we're going to do this, but we got your back. Keep going. We'll be behind you when you get to where you're going. And it's the same thing with the GDR team. You guys have been solid behind those guys, and just talk about those kind of moments and relationships.
Yeah, 100%. We are, as a brand, so excited to be, continuing the partnership with GDR Honda, the team, the riders, and even spinning off, like Derek touched on here, with the retail shop below, Junior Red Riders program, and even on the other side of the partnerships we have with Honda, with our racewear that's co-branded, our lifestyle product that's co-branded. It really just fits the mold of what we're looking for, and we couldn't be more excited to be teamed up with GDR.
And you guys are not only fans of the sport, you participated in fans. Danico, you were down racing in doing the K World Championship. You guys all ride. JC comes out every year, rides, his son rides. This is part of who Fox is. Every employee is a lover of the sport.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to find anybody at Fox headquarters that doesn't ride something on two wheels. It's truly a passion. That's what we are. We're a passionate brand. We're going to continue that passion as we push forward for the future. That's our roots, is dirt, and this is just such a great, crazy opportunity for the brand to continue with a premier team.
And quickly, what are you looking forward to? Everyone else is talking about going to Kamloops. You're probably here with me in Ontario, but again, National Series back. You got a team that's in the hunt. Those are two great things. What are some of the highlights you're looking forward to this year?
I won't be able to travel out west with the series, but definitely be at all the nationals here in Ontario. It's going to be great to see crowds back at the event. That's been stripped away from our fan base. Can hurt gate admission, and all those things that hopefully we're back to some normalcy. But on the other side, thankfully, power sports industry has been, let's say, popular since COVID. It's got people energized, get them out to buy dirt bikes and recreational product. Just super excited to have the full Canadian Series back, and credit to JetWorks crew for making that all happen and pushing through a history event that hopefully we don't have to deal with ever again.
Absolutely. I'm going to keep you here. I'm going to change up my own little program a little bit, but what I'm going to do is bring our next guest up and have our two sponsors up here, and then we'll get into some Q&A for all our sponsors. So I appreciate that, Jeff. That's exactly what we want to hear. And if you got a question for Jeff, just hold on to it. We're going to move to it. I want to bring up the other key sponsor that you see everyone here, and that's the big red machine of Honda. I want to ask Larry Lamanna to come up here, please, and have a seat.
Absolutely, yes. We've been partners for a long time with Gopher Dunes. Had huge success over the years. We couldn't be more excited to see what our two racers are going to do this year. I think we've got the top two racers. But Gopher Dunes is a great partnership. It's not just the winning, obviously that helps. The 7 championships in the last 10 years, but also, so I think we have an opportunity here.
Absolutely. Let's talk about that quickly. Sitting out front, and again, at the end of this, make sure you walk around taking out everything that is actually here. It's not just the race bikes, but there's the Honda fleet out there of small bikes and the training program that's evolved here. And we're talking, that is a program that's across the country now, but the original footprint was kind of here in Canada, where you guys are like investing in Gopher Dunes. They got those programs going, got some curriculum, and now we see it out in BC, we see it in Deschambault. It's something that you guys have taken on and got to be proud of that as well.
Yeah, our Junior Red Rider programs, it was introduced to bring new riders you know, our riding population was aging. It was, you know, everybody saw that. So we need to get new blood in. But over the last number of years, I think we've done that. You know, and it's a way to get mother and father a little more comfortable with, you know, their little ones riding, and you know, and the teams do a great job. You know, both my guys are here today, and they both went through junior ed Ryder, and it made them confident, skilled riders. And unfortunate part, it does cost you a few bucks because they start buying bikes every couple of years, so that adds up. But it's been a great program for us.
I like that. Hey, let's talk while you're both up here. Last year, after donations, Dylan Wright decided to leave the bike over there, get a deal over there, and ride the last few GPs. That was a decision that was made at the end of the year, after budgets are done and all the programs are done. And I'm sure Derek had to come to people like Honda and Fox and say, "Can we do this? And what does that look like? And what was your response when you guys hear our guys going to stay there and ride some GPs with the best?"
Obviously, opportunity-wise, it's fantastic. But Derek and his team, they do all the hard work. We supply a bike, they do the rest, really. So
still fun to see a Canadian on the world stage, though, huh? On a Honda.
And competing well. So
Yes.
This is amazing.
Yeah, probably the same.
I think what I can say for my part is a big part of why that all happened. These two brands, Fox and Honda, like worldwide, I think they work well together. And you know, Honda Canada working with American Honda and Honda of Europe to make that all happen. The guys at Fox Canada working with the guys in Fox Europe, and just seeing how everybody worked together as a group to make that happen for us and for Dylan was really cool. It was just like a huge group effort, and we had these other guys stepping in saying, "Yep, if he's with Honda Canada, we want to help him out, and we'll make it happen." And yeah, it was just a huge group effort, and I really appreciate it. And I know Dylan obviously really appreciates that experience too, and I think for him, he got a lot of experience out of it. The sponsors, the team, everybody got a lot of exposure, and honestly, like, it wouldn't have been doable without Fox and Honda.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that GP a little bit, but again, I want to recognize that it was above and beyond effort by all of you guys up here to make that happen. So that was it was a cool thing for the rest of us as motocross fans, which we all are, to see that at the end of the year. I'm going to let let a few questions fly from anyone who's out there. Anyone? Palms? You want? Come on.
They did such a good job they answered my question.
Oh no! I was wondering. Oh, Goldie's at the back. He's usually got some questions on him, but I'm gonna. Yeah. Anyone got any questions? They did do a great job of that. No? That's no problem. All right, well, just a round of applause. Thanks, guys, for being involved in this. Thanks for involving the team. And great job. All right. So I'm going to get the next two guests up here. I'm going to probably, you know what, you said to bring them at the same time. I'm going to bring them up one at a time and then keep them up here. All right? Then we can really focus in on what we want to do. I want to invite, not this tall, but he's going to be the big man on campus in the 250 class, riding the number 64. Please welcome up here, Ryder McNabb. All right, you jump. Yeah.
This guy's nervous right now. He likes
I know.
crowds with his helmet on only.
Well, you've been doing interviews for a lot of years. We were talking about this, whether it's with Gauldy or Walton, 7 amateur national titles. So you've done a lot of talking to the mic. You shouldn't be nervous.
Yeah, a little bit, but that's how it goes.
All right, okay, well, let's talk about everything. Let's talk about, I want to go back to, you did ride that 1 year as an intermediate, but last year was your first full year as a pro. So it's a different kind of expectation as a pro rider than an amateur sort of riding that support. Talk about what that experience was like last year for you, and what surprised you. Just give me anything and we'll start running with it.
Yeah, for sure. Like my first year was, I was doing both intermediate and pro class, so there wasn't as much pressure on me as the second year to do good, where like the second year I know I had pressure from Dig and the whole team and my dad and everyone to do good, and I ended up coming out winning the first round, which was awesome, let a little bit of pressure off, and ended up doing good the whole year.
Yeah, let's talk about pressure and that. There's a lot more pressure is on you, but there's also on Dig, it's on your family. Last year you come in, first round, you win that moto, and you could see the weight off of your dad's shoulders, your mom's shoulders, the tears are flowing after you got that moto win. Talk about how emotional that is to get that first win and what that's like for people who have never won a national moto.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we definitely put the work in for that, and yeah, it was really emotional for Dig, for my dad, my mom, for everyone, like just the whole team. It was an awesome experience. Tanner was right there with me. It was just awesome.
Yeah. And you ruined poor Melody because she started crying when you passed her up to me, and that was a lot of fun.
I think for pressure too, I just want to say
Yeah.
something about that. With Ryder, you know, like there was a lot of pressure on him last year. He probably feels even more this year. He's a title contender. Maybe some even might consider him a favorite, even if he's not the defending champ. But I think he's a guy that, you know, he's had a lot of pressure on him right as an amateur. Like I think of him as a super mini rider at Transcan or Loretta Lynn's, and people always looking at him as this Canadian amateur phenom that's going to be really big, and him trying to live up to that and that kind of thing. So I think he's always kind of felt a little bit of pressure, and he deals with it really well with his helmet on the track. And yeah, I think he's always kind of felt that, and I think that's kind of helped mold him into who he is, and I think that comes from his family. Like, you know, some days it might be frustrating, but every day he's on the track, his dad's sitting beside the track. There's a clock running on him every single day, lap time after lap time. We were joking in the shop the other day that the stopwatch was probably running as he was doing loops for the photo shoot, but you know, I think that's part of why he's successful at a young age, because he's dealt with pressure and he's handled it well, and I think he'll be able to handle even more coming ahead here.
I like that. And talk about, so Dig here said he really likes the new bike. He really likes that Honda. Do you love it?
Yeah, I love it. It's definitely different than last year's. It handles way better. There's a lot more power, and I like it better than last year's for sure. It just fits me a little bit more, I think.
All right, I like that. So I guess one other question I kind of want to go through, you know, we're talking about pressure, we're talking about the bike and stuff like that, but talk about what it's like to have Colton Fasciati sitting in the room here working on your bike, but also mentoring you. To have Dylan, who's got a lot of experience from those guys handed down. What does that mean to a young guy like you, and how do you tap into that sort of, I don't know, having a couple older brothers who really know what they're doing here?
Yeah, for sure. Like Colton, I worked with him a lot the first 2 years. He helped me out a bunch. Dylan helps me out this year. Me and him are super close. We kind of just go back and forth at each other, like whatever we need. It's just me and him are super close, and kind of always have been. Like as soon as I got on the team, like me and him were always like pretty close.
All right, and when you got on that team, did that ever feel, again, we talked about it when you were on the minis, yeah, you had a lot of pressure, but you were on your own with Coral and your dad and in the motor and the family in the motorhome, then you're under a rig, and again, this year you're under a rig. How does that feel for a guy, a 16-year-old guy?
Pretty good. Like just glad to be here with everyone. It's awesome to be under a team for sure.
Yeah, perfect. All right, do we have a few questions there? Palms. Hey, I've been asking Palms. I'm like, someone's got to make sure they ask questions on Palms. Don't leave me high and dry.
I was up till 10 o'clock last night
Oh,
thinking.
wow. Your 8 o'clock sleep time was just going nuts probably, right?
Anyway, talked about winning last year, your first moto.
Yeah.
So you ultimate high, but at the last round of Walton, the championship, you know, was in your grasp, right? Let us slip away a little bit. Not that you did personally, but it got away. So the ultimate high, ultimate low. What did you learn from that last summer that you've taken into this summer?
Well, so first of all, starts is one key thing. I need to work on those. Definitely me and Dylan. But also, a couple motos I could have done better. I just got off the start and was just pushing too hard. Just maybe need to calm down a little bit on those first couple laps, just to maybe not make as many mistakes. But just, it was a learning curve for sure, just everything.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's amazing. You mentioned his age. I mean, 16, and we're already talking about multiple years in the pro class, which is, you know, quite amazing. Next question, last one. When's the last time that you wore a suit?
This is my first time ever wearing a suit.
Well, you look good, so you're running it well. Yes, Dylan. Oh, this is, oh boy.
What are you most looking forward to this year? I mean, second year pro. What are you looking forward to? We're going out west. Maybe it's that.
Yeah, for sure. We're going track that's really close to my house. Definitely looking forward to there. I love that track. It's definitely a fun track. And then going out to BC, riding Kamloops, definitely looking forward to learning a new track and just getting a couple different tracks that maybe suit me a little bit better or whatever.
What track do you get? What's your strongest, you think?
Sorry, what?
What's your strongest track?
Honestly, probably Walton or
Perfect. Checks in the mail.
Pilot Mountain. They get deep ruts, and I feel like that suits me a little bit more. Just gnarly ruts, super choppy. I think that suits me a little bit more.
Yeah, I think your team knows that too. Last year at the last wall, when it was a little smooth, I heard from your team manager that we need to get tilling quick. Any other questions out there? Oh yeah, Lawrence.
I have a question. If there's one rider out there, international, from anywhere in the world, who is it that you most admire or model yourself after?
Dylan.
Not Dylan Wright. You cannot say Dylan Wright.
Honestly, I'm not really sure. I really like Tomac. I like his riding style. I like just the way he rides for sure. But yeah, probably Eli.
Hey, just to follow up on that one, you did ride with last year. You rode with both Jet and Hunter Lawrence a bit, did you?
Yeah, I rode with Jet and Hunter last year, and I rode with Hunter this year.
Oh, nice. So that's like, again, that has got to help you a little bit getting over. We always talk about the sticker shock of seeing a name on the back. Riding with a guy like that kind of gets you used to riding with names, which is sometimes harder than going the speed.
Yeah, for sure. It's really cool riding with them. I got to ride with Hunter this year. I only rode 2 days with him this year, though, which I wish I could have rode a little bit more.
Yeah.
But they were both mid-Supercross season. They were both going for championships, so didn't get as much time as I would like to ride with them. But no, it's really cool to ride with them. They're both really fast.
Perfect. All right. Well, I think that's it. Oh, yeah. Perfect, Kyle.
Just a question. You just landed your career number 64, amateur number, correct? Yeah. Was it 164 or was it only 64?
It was both. Some years someone would take 64, so I'd have to be 164, but...
Okay, the question is, if you win a championship, do you go to single digit like your teammate, or do you hang on to 64? Is that something you thought about?
No, I haven't really thought about that, but maybe I'll keep 64, maybe I'll go to a single digit, but kind of depends what there is.
You're hoping to change it to a 1, I bet.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. All right. Okay, that's it. I want to, before we let you go, you're not going, you're going to stay up here. I'll get you to probably swing to the middle of that seat, but good luck this year. Congratulations on the success you've had so far and going forward. And I think everyone's excited to see maybe that go from that. And it's going to be a good one. Round of applause for Ryder everyone. All right, so that's the one of the big dogs, but the bigger dog that we got to get up here, I want to introduce him and ask him to come up. Let's just give a big round of applause. The two-time 450 national champ, Dylan Wright. All right, Dill, take a seat there. First of all, you as well are looking good. The three of you are put together well.
Yeah, I know Fab Graphic, man, he did a good job with us for hooking us up. He's also doing my wedding too, so it's just kind of like a pre-show to see if it fits.
I like that. I got quite a collage of photos in my my phone of you guys. I have you guys in these suits, and I have quite a photo of you guys swimming yesterday. So we're all like, don't ask to see them. It's not good. No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
okay.
I guess you could say maybe I'm not shy.
It's good. I mean, hey, like you as a Canadian pro are probably the most active guy in sort of maybe thinking outside the box on your social media, doing different things. You have fun with it. You take everything super serious, but you also know how to have a good time.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things that I try and do with the sport. It is supposed to be a fun sport. That's why we all get into it. Right from Junior Red Riders where I kind of started. We do it for fun. It's a family thing. My family, my brother, we all got into it. And it's something that I think at the pro level, some guys kind of forget about. And that's one thing that I try and keep in my program is to keep it fun, keep it light. I think a lot of the guys in the shop can kind of attest to that, on race weekends it's all business, but during the week, we try and keep the laughs flowing in the shop and, just keep it down to the ground roots. And especially having a guy like Ryder on the team, it's important not to get burnt out quick. He's young. He's already got 2 seasons under his belt, and he's done well. But you see it with some guys. They get burnt out early and they retire early, and that's like something that I don't want to do. I love the sport, and obviously I love the brands that are behind us, and it's it's something that I want to keep going for a long time. So I try and think outside the box, and kind of keep some stuff a little edgy, get some people laughing, and have some people talk about it, because I guess the more eyeballs we can get on the team and on our great brands behind us, the better it is for everybody.
Yeah, I see.
I'm just gonna back up here a little bit. You were talking about the photo, so I figure I might as well let
Yeah,
everyone else know.
I was like, well, should I have said
Yeah.
that?
I'm gonna involve you in this too.
Oh, Ben.
So, we had our photo shoot yesterday, and it's an early start. James, our photographer, he was up late the night before. I picked him up late, and I was a little nervous about telling him, hey, I want to be up at like 5:45 the next morning, so we're up for sunrise. And same with these guys, they're groaning about it being up early. And so we get out there, and I don't even know what time it was, but it was early. The sun was coming up.
It was too early.
So I set the bike up in front of the pond. There was going to be some great sunrise photos, and Matt here sitting in the front row. I always send him different photos and stuff as we're doing stuff, because I like bouncing ideas off with that kind of stuff. I had a really sweet photo on my iPhone, sent it over to him, and just looked really cool, the sun coming up, and he right away says, look pretty sweet if you told Dylan to go skinny dipping and jump in the pond behind his bike. So 20 minutes later, I sent him a photo of Dylan skinny dipping and jumping in the pond behind his bike. So we got a couple funny photos of it, and it was a good way to break the ice and start the day. And it's probably a little cold in that pond.
Yeah, it's definitely one way to wake up in the morning. You strip down and jump in this freezing cold water. But it starts the day off good. Keep it light and keep everybody having fun.
Yeah, and it is a sport, like both of you mentioned, it's a sport. You want to have a good time with this, and it's it was good. It wasn't anything terrible to see. It was all good. So I don't know where I don't know how to stop this right now. I'm wishing I didn't bring it up. Let's do something here. Let's talk about who you become right now, because one of the things I really enjoy, and there's a few of us, maybe like people like Kyle and Galdi and myself, Palms, we've seen most of you guys come from pure amateurs, like 50s now, up to being national champs. And I remember you as an 80 kid, and that I saw the bottom of your bike as much as I saw the top of it in those days, and you've grown into this sort of steady, dependable racer, and it took a lot of work to get to this point, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it all kind of starts, like I said earlier, from the Junior Red Ryder program and starting to ride. I didn't have a background in racing. My family had no idea what they were getting into. No one really rode, so I was kind of the first one of the family to get into it, and hopefully, my kids, I can pass that torch on, because it's been a wild adventure, and I've loved every minute of it. But yeah, to that, I didn't have a lot of training and background into the sport. So you watch some YouTube and you try and figure out how to ride a dirt bike. And obviously with some great programs, you're able to. It's out there. You're able to kind of go get some guidance growing up a little bit. But I think one thing that I wasn't scared to do was twist the throttle. And sometimes, like you said, I ended up on my head a little bit. And but I think that's all part of learning. I always tell kids, we practice. Yeah, red snowman, exactly. You practice with a purpose, and for me it was always to kind of get faster. And with speed, my dad always used to say you can't teach speed, but you can teach to smooth it out. So that's kind of where we have. And obviously with Colt, he's helped me a lot. I think my career. Prior to coming to Honda and the team and working with Colton and Derek and the guys, it was a little bit up and down and all over the place until I came with these guys, and they really gave me a platform and a program and everything that had worked and succeeded with Colt, because he learned from Blair and JSR and those guys, so he can take his knowledge and then pass it down to me, and now I get to pass it down to Ryder with all the years of experience that Colt even had. So obviously can't thank him enough. He's kind of changed my career around a little bit, and everybody on the team with Justin, Derek, everybody. It's definitely a group effort. I know we're the ones standing on the podium, but it's definitely we have a solid team behind us, and even the sponsor guys, we wouldn't be able to do it without them, without a great bike as a platform and gear making us look good and feeling good on the track. Because I mean, you know, if you look good, you always feel better. So yeah, without them, I wouldn't be able to be where I am today.
I wanted to mention Colt as well, 'cause, he just said something there, but yeah, he, like, you were saying that, Dylan, you've seen his bike upside down as much as right side up in the past, and you know, when
As a young guy.
you know, and kind of that way a little bit when he first got to the team as well, and I think Colt was a big part of helping mold Dylan into what he is now, and like I don't want to make his head too big, it's already pretty big, but like I give him a lot of credit for that, and I think initially when Dylan got to the team for the first year or two, I don't think he fully bought into that for year one. I think you'd agree with that. And I think as you started working on some of that stuff a little bit more going into year two, you've seen stuff changing and your results improving and just a little bit more steadiness in your program. And then by year three, you won that first 250 championship. And I mean, it is a group effort by the team, and at the end of the day, it's Dylan that has to do the work, but I give Colt a lot of credit. And I think something that's good about him, like Dylan's somebody that will teach you from his successes, but also his failures too. Like he'll tell you things that he would do differently, as well as things that have worked for him. So I think that's why these guys have a really good guy in their corner in Colton.
Yeah, and talking about like where you went, where you are now, I asked Derek this, it's sort of a surreal thing. Again, the stats for you are 41 moto wins, 50 podiums, 24 overalls, 3 national titles, 2 Triple Crowns. This is a surreal thing to sort of feel that and know you're the top man on a factory Honda team. It's got to feel great.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, growing up, you go to the races. I'd come to Gopher, Sand League. You know, you do the close ones to home, and you know, you look up to guys like Colton and JS. But you never really think you're going to make it. So I mean, to actually make it to the top and have multiple titles, obviously, it feels surreal. But I think for me, you know, there's a lot of pressure, especially now. You know, you got the number one on your back, and you know, it's a target. Everybody wants to have it. And, you know, I'm going to try not to make it easy on him. You know, I want to keep it on my bike and on my back. So obviously, you know, that's a challenge. But I think at the end of the season, you know, every year we win. You know, it's kind of a sigh of relief for everybody on the team. It's exciting, but it's also a relief that, okay, we got it done. And then everybody's got to look to the next year because, you know, we don't want to lose. And that's part of, like, you know, being competitive.
Triple Crown starts in Kamloops. That's what we're dealing with, is like 3 weeks away sort of thing now. And talk about the plan. You're on a proven platform. You know the bike pretty good, and you know who's coming. There's a few new names being punched right out there. It should be a stiff starting gate for you to compete, but I feel like you're ready.
Yeah, I think as a racer, you know, you accept the challenge. You know, every year we go into the challenge is to win. And, you know, no matter who comes up or who we're racing against, you know, we always aim for that top step at the podium every weekend. I'm the kind of guy, you know, I leave what I have to say on the track a lot. And, you know, I want to win, that's for sure. And, you know, I think I'm willing to put in the work and the time and, you know, a lot of hours in this room right here and on Frank's track in the back where sometimes the conditions aren't exactly the funnest, but on race day, it gets the job done because it makes the job easier. I think, you know, that's what this team's about. You know, we're not afraid to get a little dirty and, you know, put the work boots on and go to work. And that's what we all do. We all have a job to do and everybody executes it, what I feel like, pretty perfectly.
I like that. All right, I'm going to let some questions go out there. I have a few, but I know other people will be asking them too. Palm, please.
Of course it's Palm.
No, hey, this is what we want. We want these questions. It's way worse when everyone's just staring at you. Trust me, I've had that happen to me.
I have 2, actually.
Perfect. You can have 3.
First one, after your success last fall on the world stage, MXGPs, even Paris, when you started riding again at the beginning of this year, did you, as a rider, did you feel different on the bike? Like from those experiences you had overseas, did you feel like maybe more confident or just better? Or was it just kind of another year of getting going again?
Yeah, I feel like I'll start at the beginning of that story. Going over there, obviously it started with designations. Obviously, you know, being picked for the team was cool, but I was also, it was a decision for me because I had my knees and they were injured. So it was, all right, do we do this race or, you know, do we get it fixed? But ultimately, you know, with my trainer, my doctor, and everybody with the team, you know, it's a cool race that I've always looked up to as a kid growing up. It's, you know, it's like going to the Olympics. You don't want to miss it. So, you know, we ultimately decided to go, which was awesome. You know, we had an amazing time, and I think I showed some speed on the world stage, and it kind of gave me the opportunity to go back. Obviously, I can't thank Honda, Fox, Derek, Justin, Braden, everybody. It added a lot of work to everybody to get me to do it. So obviously, thanks to them, because, you know, without the amazing people behind it, it definitely wouldn't have happened, and it's a dream come true for me. And I think everybody kind of realized that, and that's why, you know, we kind of, everybody got together and made it happen. So thanks to everybody for that. And then moving on to the GPs, you know, I fly over by myself. I don't know anybody. You know, it's kind of it's hard to put into, you know, I write the columns for MXP, but it's hard to put it into words sometimes. And, you know, you fly over, I don't know anybody. I got a gear bag and a backpack. And I'm like, all right, let's go racing. But, you know, I'm racing against the best in the world. And you show up the first weekend. I don't know anybody. They're all talking these weird languages that I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be a wild ride. But, you know, you show up, and I think that's how tight the moto community is. You know, I can go somewhere, I don't know anybody, and right away I feel included with Honda as a brand and with Fox, because you know, I can familiarize with, you know, Tim Geiger and Ruben and the guys that I'm racing against and with. And, you know, they all make me feel included, and that was pretty cool just to have that that kind of familiarity with, you know, Honda in the US and Honda in Europe, and you make so many connections. That's so cool that I can continue to, you know, maybe that helps us down the road with the bike development and everything for our program. So I think that's cool for that. And obviously I had an amazing time over there racing against the best in the world. I mean, you can't have experience like that and it not help you. Obviously, you know, I got my ass kicked a bit, you know, and you know, it's humbling. You know, you come from winning a bunch over here, and you go over there, and you know, you see, oh, I got some work to do. You know, I'm a big fish in a little pond, and you know, you go over there, and it's like, okay, you know, it's for me, I get fired up when I lose, not when I win. You know, I hate losing more than I like to win. So over there, you know, I seen, okay, I gotta gain a couple seconds if I want to be the best, and that's, you know, as a competitor, you always want to beat the next guy or the best in the world. So it's definitely motivating to come back and put the work in with the team and sit down with them after and be like, all right, this is what I think we can maybe improve on for this year coming up. And like you say, you get back on the bike and you know, you want to beat Cairoli and Geiger. So you know, you're just putting the work in to find every 10th of a second you possibly can.
I just want to add something to that too, and this goes to one of your strengths, and just, you know, I'm walking down the starting line of Motocross Nations, and I think Dylan's biggest strength is he doesn't really like let things get to him as far as pressure and that kind of thing, kind of like what I was saying about Ryder earlier. A lot of guys, I think, you know, you leave Canada, you go to an event like Motocross Nations, the best in the world are there, you line up, and our results aren't always the greatest, just guys struggle, they're not used to maybe running that pace all day, that kind of thing. And so I'm walking down the line, and Dylan's lined up, and he's beside Hurlings, Geiger, and Cairoli, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of surreal, right? Seeing him lined up beside these guys. And what's wilder is, like, it just doesn't even faze him. It's like he's got his game face on, and he's ready to go, and he's not being like over confident or cocky or anything like that. It's just like he's here to race these guys, and I think that's why, you know, the first weekend of those GP races probably didn't go quite as good as he wanted. I think he was maybe 15th, 17th kind of guy. And by the final round of those 6 races, you know, he was consistently inside the top 10, showing he's, you know, running top 10 speed in the world, getting an 8th, 9th. And I think that's pretty impressive to, you know, move up that quick through those spots in, you know, it wasn't even 6 weeks, right? Because we were doing 2 races a week. So he had like 3.5 weeks to gain a couple seconds a lap and make those improvements. And I think that's just because he doesn't let that stuff get to him. He just gets to work and does his thing.
Yeah, I think I lined up between those guys because I wanted a sick picture for Instagram.
I will say, you as a riders may not appreciate what we probably experienced during that GP thing, but I would guess the majority of people in this room were woke up at 4 or 5 in the morning, watched those early motos, and I'm going to tell you, like, I could just only use my own home experience in Bell. Now we're up at 5 in the morning with Barry texting us from Toronto who people are and having our coffee, and it was incredibly surreal to see you getting interviewed at a GP and everyone's wandering around. Like Derek said, we both made the comment, we're like, well, it looks like he's never coming back, right? I mean, you look like you belong, and I applaud you for doing it, because it was a big pressure, and you say you got your ass kicked, but your results are on par with only 2 other guys in the history of Canada have ever placed in that, one being Ross Pedersen, who's arguably the greatest rider in Canadian history, right? So you did an amazing job, great job, be proud of that effort. Any other questions out there? Frank?
I got one for you. When you first came to the team, you were on the 250. Colt is a guy with very few words, but he was your mentor. And I remember the day that you were, this is kind of a story followed by a question, but we went to the training track at the back, deep ruts, it had rained, and the track was kind of almost unrideable. And I remember Colt telling you, go out and do a sight lap, but you didn't. You went out and you jumped every jump in the ruts, and I just remember looking at Colt, and the only thing he said was, Jesus. Have you ever had now that you're Colt, you're the mentor to Ryder, have you ever had a Jesus moment with him?
Do you ever come to Jesus moment with Ryder? That's what Frank's asking. I'm going to guess yes. Let's see.
Yeah, every day. You know, obviously he's young, but I think that's part of what helps more of an experienced rider like myself, I guess, even though I'm still pretty young. You know, it keeps it fun, because, you know, you do have these moments where you're like, dang, I know that was me about, I don't know, 6 years ago, where you're like, you want to tell him, like, hey, that probably wasn't smart, but you also kind of, you know, he's got to learn himself too. And I know Colt had a lot of those, and he's a guy, you know, he's got a hard shell, but he's got a soft inside, you know what I mean? So once you crack the shell with Colt, he's just like, he's like a brother to me, really. And like I said, he's helped my career so much. But yeah, there's definitely been a lot of moments where, you know, I look back and I'm like, wow, now I'm Colt to Ryder, and, you know, obviously I try and spin some stuff a little bit differently sometimes, because he's a pretty straight shooter. An interesting story was, like, at first coming to the team, Colt kind of intimidated me. You know, I was like, oh my God, you know, he's had so many championships, he's so successful. But like I said, he's truly kind of part of my family now.
All right. Palms, one more? Yep.
Yeah, no, this is maybe more of as much a statement as a question, but, you know, you mentioned watching these guys come up through the ranks. I think it was 2013, you were here on a YZ 250. One thing that I think we've all noticed is that, you know, Colt was kind of the same way. As the success has come, you guys haven't changed off the track, right? And, you know, how you treat media, you know, everyone, kids, you know, you guys are as nice as can be, and very professional, and I think that speaks volumes, you know, for what kind of people they are. Is that upbringing, is that, you know, something that you guys consciously work on, or is that just kind of what you see is what you get with you guys?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I feel like both me and Dylan are kind of like, just, we are the same on and off the track. Like, yeah, we've changed on the track a bunch, because me for sure because of Colton, and Dylan because of Colton, but I feel like me and him are the same off the track, just super nice, just talk to everyone.
Yeah, I think, just to add to that, I feel like being humble is a big part of the program. If you let your head get too big, it's going to hurt your career, and it's going to make it shorter. You know, our community is fairly small and tight niche, so I think you got to treat everybody with the respect they deserve, from a 7-year-old kid in the pits, because, you know, that guy might be the next champion one day, you never know. So you got to treat everybody with the respect they deserve, and, you know, I think if I didn't stay humble, my dad would probably beat my ass.
I also think it's safe to say that, you know, for you riders spending 20 minutes in the shop with Colton and Justin and the rest of the guys, you stay pretty humble.
Yeah, you don't have a choice, because if you don't, these guys give it to you. You know, they've got some pretty good one-liners every day. And, you know, obviously, like I said, this team's, it's more than just a relationship. It's really, you know, it's like family. We come in and we all get the job done as a whole unit. You know, some days we have to go for a side-by-side ride because we don't quite see eye to eye all the time. Dig and I, mostly. You know, because we just have to go chat. So we go back into Trail 3 on the old Honda Pioneer, and we, you know, we harsh it out in the back, but, you know, I think it makes us all better humans in the end. You know, a little communication goes a long way.
Perfect. So to close this down, I'm going to have last word, Dick. I love the kind of building off what Tom said, but you got a great culture here. You got a great team, and we're, like we said, 3 weeks from loading up, heading out west, and starting this thing off. Last word goes to you and how you're feeling.
Yeah, thank you. I want to just go through a couple things here quick at the end. First of all, I hope everybody got to check out our documentary from last year, War for Four. I just wanted to point out Austin and Isaiah in the back with the video cameras here. They're filming for a new one this year. They put a ton of work in that thing. I know a ton of people have come up to myself and these guys and said how awesome it was and how much they liked it, but it really wasn't that much work for us. We just sat and answered questions and let them kind of like be involved in our everyday life all last summer. So I just want to give those guys a round of applause because they And then outside of that, we put a lot of work into just getting everything ready for this week. I wanted to have the shop clean and everything looking good, but it's a busy time of year around here. We got training going every day. The track's open. It's busy with stuff going on in the front of the shop, so it's not easy for me to tell the staff that I need all the stuff set up, and like I put a lot of extra work on everybody here, especially Justin and Braden in the back, and like they've been grinding out some long days here. Braden especially these last couple days, like they were working through being sick, and they had a ton of work to do. Those race bikes, getting them built, probably they'd like to have them done a little bit later than what they are, because I put a lot of pressure on them to have them done for this week, and they probably would like to have had an extra week or two. And then on top of that, we're getting lighting changed and cleaning the shop and doing all this stuff. So it hasn't made it an easy work environment the last week and a half. So I just want to thank you guys and give you guys a round of applause as well, because you guys have been super busy. Outside of that, I just will go over real quick what we got going on the rest of the day. These guys are going to get changed here into some riding gear shortly, but I'm going to keep them up here for a few minutes when we finish up. That way, if anybody wants to have some photo ops in front of the backdrop here with them before we go downstairs, we can do that. When we're down there, we have our old championship bikes down there and a few other special bikes of the team that we've kept, so feel free to check those out. The race bikes are on display. Braden and Justin will be over by those if you want to ask them some questions about what we got going on with the new bikes. Like Brett mentioned earlier, we have the embargo on the 2 retro bikes sitting on the other side, so if you do take photos of those, they're not quite done anyway. Please don't share those. That'll come out July 7th. We got some really cool custom Fox gear coming out with those. There's a little picture of it on the seat of one of the bikes for you guys to check out. We have some lunch coming for everybody. That'll be here in probably about 30 minutes or so. At some point, the guys will get some photos with their bikes downstairs, dressed up, and then they'll go get their riding gear on while we're having lunch. And if you guys want to watch them spin a few laps, you're more than welcome to. They'll head out on the track, get a few more photo ops out there, and then we got a couple of the media guys testing the bikes out after that. And I really just want to thank everybody for coming. I know everybody's busy, got a busy schedule. Some of you guys flew in or traveled in from different places, so I really appreciate you all coming, and thank you.
Good job, Derek. Big round of applause, everyone. This is the 2022 Honda GDR Fox Racing Team. Good luck this year, guys. Let's call it a game. Everyone, you're free to go, free to come up for a photo. And again, thanks, Derek. Thanks, everyone.